Remember how easy it was when you first started playing music and how hard it feels now? I've been there. When I started, there were no roadblocks, just the love of making music. And the deeper I got into my journey, the harder it became to enjoy the process. In this video, I'm going to share where creative roadblocks come from and how to get around them. So when I started out, I had no expectations. I was 15 years old and I just wanted to be like Radiohead. My best friend introduced me to the band, their album, The Bends. And from there, I just took off. I learned guitar, started a band. We were together, we played shows, and it was just beautiful. It was all fun, and it was easy. And as that journey progressed, the more I got exposed to the music world. I went to school, I studied music after that, after the band. I studied audio engineering. I just became so immersed in the world of music, I realized everything that I didn't know. And that's when perfectionism and doubt crept in. And I just started kind of overanalyzing everything. And I lost a lot of my confidence. I slowed down and I became kind of reclusive with my music. And I kept it to myself for a long time. And really what happened was I forgot why I kind of got into music in the first place. I started comparing myself to everybody else, and I just lost my compass. So fast forward to a couple of years ago, I was in a new city, and I didn't really know anybody, didn't really have any connections. And I decided I needed to get out there and just get back into playing again. So I started going to open mics around town here. I'd go to the odd show and I would just try to get out there. I would try to connect with other musicians, and slowly that kind of started to feed into other ideas, other creative ideas. I then created an online songwriting community, and that was another important step for me in terms of reconnecting to my creativity and to my songwriting, and building more feedback and creative nurturing and community. Song Farm was instrumental, no pun intended, in helping me to develop my songs. It forced me to sort of look at my songwriting in a new light. It raised my standards for what songwriting meant to me. And it helped me to set a tangible goal to release a single on Spotify. I gave myself a deadline for that, and I worked towards the goal. And I had a deadline. I missed the deadline by 1 or 2 weeks, I believe, but I still got it out, even though it wasn't finished. And that was a big lesson for me. It sort of forced me to put my perfectionism in the back seat. And I made a video about perfectionism before. I'll link to it up here. But the real lesson I wanted to underline here is about taking small actions and how small actions lead to growth over time, and they create momentum. And the more you start to feed into your curiosities and following your curiosities, taking those small steps, the more it creates a bit of a feedback loop. And that creativity and that energy kind of propels you to the next thing. So for me, that turned into playing longer shows, joining other songwriting groups, collaborating more with other artists, getting into coaching, getting into mentorship with artists who are looking for help moving forward in their own careers. So creative roadblocks are not assigned to stop what you're doing. They are subtly encouraging you that you have to push past them, because on the other side of these roadblocks is growth. That's what I experienced once I pushed past my own personal roadblocks. On the other side of that was a lot of freedom and growth. The key here is to take action despite the doubt, despite the roadblocks. Speaking of doubt, my last video was about doubt and how that shows up. And what you can do about that. So you can check that video out as well. But the point is that confidence comes from taking action, not before it. So you have to just take the action, despite the doubt, despite the apparent roadblock. And as you take these actions, you start to develop this momentum. You start to build your confidence. And that leads to bigger milestones, bigger steps, and more growth as an artist. So I turn it over to you now. What is one creative roadblock that you're currently facing? And what's one small step that you can take to get past it, to move beyond it? I'd love to know. So please leave me a comment below. And if you like this video and you want more videos about songwriting coaching, mentorship, music mindset, be sure to subscribe to this channel. And thanks for watching.